Speaking of real estate and what's going on in real estate, guru Erin Williamson is with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
So you are a guru. You've been doing real estate for a day or two.
A day or two, yeah, like 33 years.
30. You must have started at 2 or
Thank
something.
you.
33 years. Jeez. Okay. So are you seeing major differences right now?
You know what? There's a lot of buyers out there. We're still seeing multiple offers on some properties. And with all that bad news you just gave, it's like hard to decipher like what's fake news and what's real news.
Well, I think what's real news is what you're talking about because you're on the street.
Yeah, the ones with the boots on the ground,
Right.
and you listen to the media, and then you actually see what's going on out there, and you're just like, come on. It's like give us some real like data of what's really happening.
It's a shame that they don't, in so many of these instances, all they're doing is looking at reports that are looking for clickbait, and they don't ever substantiate what they're saying anymore.
Bad news sells.
Right.
Bad news sells. Oh, we're going to get more eyes on this because we're going to tell everybody it's doom and gloom all the time, but it's actually not really doom and gloom.
Well, so when you're out on the streets, and I kind of live in a cocoon because I'm doing the radio show and helping folks with loans, but I'm not really out on the streets as much as you are. Do people even pay attention to any of this news and politics and garbage? You
know what people pay attention to, which still blows me away, is what the Zillow says their house is worth. It's just like you start with, it's well, the media said this and the media said that, and I'm like, yeah, but guys, if I can prove that it's different, I'm like, would you take a chance if we could show you this? It's just educating. It's really just about educating the clients, and sometimes you have to do them one step at a time.
Yeah, you can't go from saying Zillow, here's what Zillow says, Zillow's an idiot, let's move on. It doesn't quite work that way.
Well, it kind of does. I think those words might come out of my mouth sometimes.
Well, and you know something, I think I've got to look for it because I had a report that showed that was deep from the Zillow website. They don't want to share this, that their numbers can be as much as 30 or 40% off.
Yes, it's like the pendulum swings so far, and it depends on which side you're sitting on. If I'm representing a seller, and the seller is like, "Well, Zillow says my house is worth this," and I said, "Okay, well then is Zillow willing to write you a check for it?" Or are we going to see what the buyers,
It's kind of funny because Zillow was doing that for a while until they realized even that their numbers were so bad that they were losing a lot of money.
Exactly. It's like, here we are.
Exactly. Okay. So, I don't want to spend all day talking about real estate. We do that a lot because we've got a different issue to talk about today.
We do. Talking about things that are down.
There we go. Okay. So, and I'm very, very thankful because I've talked to people many, many times that I've beaten anorexia. And I had ballooned until, ironically enough, it was politics this particular time. I mean, we've been friends for quite a while, but politics this time has actually brought me to your house, and I learned it was the Harris and Trump debate.
Yeah, you came over to watch the debate with me, and the next thing we know, we start talking about weight loss in the kitchen.
Exactly, and I think right now at 52 as of today.
Amazing.
52 pounds down.
52 pounds down. How does it feel?
Feels good.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the problems when you're morbidly obese, and, I go to doctors and they don't understand this because they're not morbidly obese. And you talk to people that haven't been 150 or 200 pounds overweight, which I was at one point. It happens gradually, and you don't realize that how much more you're sitting on the couch, and you don't realize how much more you're not wanting to go play with your kids or now grandkids, right? Those are, those things don't happen overnight. And it's just, it's kind of like, what do they say when you boil
it's the frogs in the pot, they don't even realize that the heat is getting a little hotter and a little hotter and a little hotter. And pretty soon they can't get out. They're just so comfortable. And then they're dead.
Exactly. And something, I think that happens to people too.
It does.
So, starting with, everybody and their uncle's talking about these shots that are out now.
Yeah. So there's these peptides, right? And
But go back before that even, Erin. Let's go back to, the brand names, Mounjaro, Zepbound, Wegovy, Ozempic, that are all good for your health. They've talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And, if it's good for your health, for some reason, insurance companies don't want to help you.
Right.
So you go and you go, okay, I got it. My doctor prescribed it for me.
Doctor's prescribing it, but the insurance company's not covering it.
Right. $1,200 a month.
Yeah. $800, $900, $1,200 a month is what some people are paying.
And I just saw a thing recently, and my son got hit by this one, didn't realize it, that, you go to Lilly Direct, and it's not a commercial for Lilly Direct because they're not going to like what I have to say. But you go on their website and they talk about that they'll give you a coupon, and if your insurance covers it, you can pay $25.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've had my bariatric doctor, my general practitioner, all prescribe these different things, the ones that are for weight loss, not for weight loss, for diabetes, not for diabetes, all of them. And I've gotten rejected every time. I'm used to getting rejected. It's my story of my life, right? But they come back now. Lily's thing says, well, we'll give you up to $150 a month off. Okay, now I do math pretty well. $1,200 a month, less $150, still over $1,000. That's a lot of money.
Right.
A lot of money, people can't afford that. So I was really excited when you and your husband, Danny, gave me this idea. Well, it's not going to cost that much money.
Yeah.
A lot cheaper.
It's a lot cheaper. It's a lot cheaper. And there are different products out there.
Right.
And so, first of all, I want to say I'm excited that you decided to become a brand partner with LEMD, because I'm just excited to be on this journey with you and to continue to watch you. I can't even say go up. I can say go down.
There we go. Okay.
You're going to go up while you're going down.
There you go.
That's super exciting in itself. I love being aligned with this particular company because we know where the product's coming from. It's a FDA approved pharmacy, a 503A pharmacy. So I kind of jokingly say to people, it's like, be careful what you order off the internet, right? Because it's like that whole Temu thing.
Right.
Remember, our house had burned down, and we were in this rental property. We didn't have any furniture at the time. And I went on to Temu and I found this outdoor furniture. I'm like, Danny, oh my gosh, this price is amazing. Look at this outdoor furniture I found. It gets delivered. And Danny's like, what the hell is that? I can't even sit on this. It's like, this couch is this tall. Do you remember it was in my backyard?
Yeah.
And Danny's like, nobody can even sit on this. This is like for 5-year-olds. And so it's kind of the same principle. It's just be careful what you order, because if the price sounds too good to be true, it generally is. However, it doesn't have to be $800, $900, $1,200 a month either. So there's a happy medium in there. And then if you know what you're getting and where you're getting it from, then you're even in a safer place. Where
I want to talk about that when we come back, but pricing is a big issue, but I'm going to share how much money you can actually save, legitimate dollars and cents, living your life and enjoying life. We'll talk about that when we come back. Continuing our conversation, we're talking with Erin Williamson this morning. We're talking about getting healthy. And, I've for years talked about non-traditional ways of getting healthy and getting on the injectables. And I don't even know what the right term is for them. Is there a specific term?
GLP-1s.
GLP-1s. Okay.
Peptides.
But there's more than that. There's so many things. There's just the weight loss is the GLP-1s and GIPs.
Oh, there's everything. There's gut health. There's brain benefits. There's cardiac health. There's sexual health. There's everything. There's something for everyone.
So one of the things we started to talk about before the break was you can get the products, and I'm not going to get into pricing and all that kind of stuff because everybody's different. And one of the nice things with the company that you're aligned with and I've kind of teamed up with as well, right, is that you end up having a medical consultation. Right?
Correct. We're not doctors. I'm not a doctor.
Right?
You're not a doctor.
And I don't even play one on TV. Well, maybe sometimes. Oh, that's a different story. We're not going to get in there.
You play a lot of things, though.
That's right. You got to hold it up a little higher. No one can see what you're showing us. Okay. There we go. Okay.
I told him this needs to say -100, -50.
That's right.
Yeah.
But, so you look at these things, and I was sharing off air, and I've shared with some other folks. Last 2 weeks ago, we had our 38th anniversary. So we went out for a nice dinner to Harvest in Laguna Beach at the ranch. And normally that would be a $250, $300 dinner, right? Mm-hmm. We had a couple of cocktails. We still did. But our whole tab was $109. And we took food home. So
that goes into the question. Well, what do these peptides do? What do they make you feel like? What's your experience? How do they make you feel?
I feel like I've always felt, but I'm not hungry. You don't have a desire. And actually, when you eat a little bit, you're full, you're stuffed.
Right.
I mean, we were actually uncomfortably full by the time we left. And
so that goes into the premise of this is how you actually save money being on the peptide. So they're not as expensive as you think when you start to realize how much money you can save in the long run. But the key, and a lot of people will miss this key. So what is the trick to staying healthy? What is your 2-year goal, 5-year goal, 10-year goal look like with these peptides? And the trick is In order for them to work for you, the best that they can actually work for you is that you've got to continue to eat your protein. You've
Right.
got to continue to drink lots of water. This is your opportunity, because what they do is it changes your relationship with food. It changes that craving. You feel fuller longer. So now's your opportunity to change the way you eat, because you don't have those cravings. So you have an opportunity to cut back on the sugar. You have an opportunity to cut back on the candies and the extra chips and all of these
Right.
things. All of that food noise goes away. So
And that's the big part right there, is that even when I had bariatric surgery, I lost a ton of weight, 162 pounds in like a year.
Yeah.
But the noise is still there.
Right. And this makes the noise go away. So
Right.
now you can, learn how to do better habits. So you
Right.
start eating better. You start getting your protein, even if it's in smaller amounts, and you're doing something like that 5 times a day, maybe smaller portions. So you're not hungry as often, but you're really fueling your body with the right things that it needs, so that when you reach your goal weight, you can effectively come off of the peptides. I'm not on any weight loss peptides at the moment, but I've been able to manage exactly where I want to be, because I'm sticking with what I trained myself to be able to do: the high protein, the lots of water, the lots of exercise. And you're going to feel so good that you're going to want to be exercising. You're going to want to continue to do those things.
And the other thing that I like with that we're doing now is you and I have in common that, we like to go have a good time.
Yes.
And one of the things of having a good time is, you go out to a nice restaurant, you go out with friends, you want to go do things. So many things we do in our society goes, let's go to this, enjoy this restaurant.
Yes. I'm a huge foodie.
Yeah.
And I'm still a huge foodie, and I'll always be a huge foodie.
Right. But, well, you're not a huge, but
Well.
I'll be huge. But the latest and greatest, we just went to, I forgot the name. Our RH Restoration Hardware. I don't know why you go to a hardware store to eat, but
It's fantastic, isn't it?
yeah, it was great. But, you could share a
meal.
Right.
Yeah.
And you still get to enjoy the atmosphere and enjoy friends.
Yep.
And you don't even think about the fact that, okay, so I didn't have anything to eat, or very little.
Yeah.
But you still have to eat. So how have you dealt with it? And one of the concerns I had when I went to my general practitioner, and he's big time, he's very, very pro using these products.
Right.
He didn't say these specific. He didn't test anything. Doctors don't usually. There's not a whole lot of doctors that go into the science part. They're used to the drug rep that comes in and telling them.
Right. But I want to interrupt you real fast and say, your doctors know your medical history.
Right.
So they've seen what your cholesterol looks like, what your blood pressure looks like, what all of these other, key factors look like along the way. And once you start taking these peptides, and I can speak for Danny because my husband has lost 114 pounds, and his doctor's like, oh my gosh, your blood work looks amazing.
Right.
What have you been doing?
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Exactly.
I think my A1C was like 6.6 or 6.7, which is diabetic range. Anything over 6.5 is diabetic. And after taking these, my last blood work, 5.4.
Amazing.
Right. And I don't deprive myself of eating anything I want, but I've had the desire to change, exactly what you said.
Right. And that's the trick. That is the trick, is to start to change. And so the longevity, 5 years from now, when you look back and you're going, oh my gosh, now I eat differently and it's comfortable for me.
Right. And we know we don't have to be rocket science. I don't have to go to medical school to know that when I was before my bariatric surgery at 425 pounds, or before I started these at 357, it's not healthy.
Right.
Right. And, I've had friends of mine who have had heart scares, right? I know you have, right? and ironically enough, you always talk about that men having heart attacks, and I know you had one, and I have another lady friend. She had it, and she's been on the products as well. And that being morbidly obese is not good for your heart.
Correct.
Right? I mean, I don't have to go to medical school for that, and neither does anybody that's listening. So you get involved in some of this, and it's my joints. I mean, my knees aren't hurting as bad. I don't know if I can avoid having knee replacement.
Yeah, but you don't have all of that weight on you, that
Right.
pressure on your knees, which
Right.
makes it a lot more enjoyable for you to get around and move around and go, oh, these things don't hurt as much.
Which is pretty bad. I've only shared this with a few people, but I walked Balboa Island all the time. A lot of people know that, and they've seen my journey on social media, but I'm carrying everyone has their phone with them. And I go to the health app and it says walking condition. It says unstable. So that you got a bit of a problem there. When that was pre these. I haven't seen that lately, but it's amazing. So what other things are there? Like I have a friend of mine that started
NAD plus.
Right. And I think you said Danny's doing
yeah,
that.
my husband started that about 30 days ago or so. And he's like, Erin, he's like, you got to get on this. He goes, this is incredible. He goes, not only am I sleeping better, but he feels so good. And that's a big part of it. It's like you can look good, but you also want to feel good.
Right.
And we like to have fun.
Yeah.
And you can't have fun if you don't feel good.
Right.
You just don't have any
if
desire.
You're tired.
Yeah, you don't have any desire if you're too tired and you're cranky and you're all of these things. But he's got energy all throughout the day. So he's still doing the GLP-1 GID, which is basically the tirzepatide,
okay,
along with this NAD plus, which is basically a reverse aging on a cellular level. So your body starts repairing itself from the inside out, and you're starting to see better, elasticity in your skin and your collagen, and all of these things start repairing themselves. And I can just tell you firsthand, he feels fantastic. And if he feels fantastic, I feel fantastic,
right?
Because he's not
the whole family
running around grumpy.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
Well, and ironically enough, now I don't know what you're using, but I have I think it's an iHome scale, and on what part of that app tells me that my weight age or my health age is 11 years older than what my chronological
your actual age is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And ironically enough, I've said many times that part of my issue is that none of my upline, so to speak, being my my parents, my grandparents on both sides, only one of them lived past 80.
Wow.
Right. So I look and say, okay, what is my likelihood? Right. And you look and say, okay, if my ancestors aren't.
Right. And it's already telling you're 11 years older.
Right. So maybe I'll get more than 11 years.
Yeah.
And I got, now must be just because of you, Erin. Mindy's listening today. So she doesn't ever listen to me. So
hi, Mindy.
She's out there saying the noise is her thing. The noise in your head about, the cravings. That's
right.
We'll talk more about that when we come back. Continuing our conversation, getting healthy. Erin Williamson and I are chatting about this. And so Erin, there's all these different products, and I love it. You can go to the website, and I'll give you a quick link to it. rsrlinks.com/shot. rsrlinks.com/shot. It's basketball playoff season, so just think of shot. Right? So, a lot of folks are looking and you read online, and now being that you and I are talking about this, and I've been talking about it for a little while now. Now, everything that comes across any of my social feeds is all about peptides.
Good.
Right? So you get to see all these things. I don't want to be a product expert. I don't want to be a doctor. I can't handle science.
Yeah, and you don't need to be, because all you're doing is pointing people to a link, and then they have a private consultation, a free assessment, and a private consultation with a telehealth doctor that if they determine that this is a good fit for them, they will write a prescription. And that prescription will get filled with a FDA approved pharmacy and will get shipped to their door in the privacy of their home in an unmarked package. And then they can administer it themselves. So
they're not going to know that I'm obese.
But the good news is you or I, if they go on my link, if they go on your link, we have no idea of the assessment that they do. It's 100% private. We have no idea of the conversation that goes on between them and their private doctor. And we don't know. We don't ask questions. They come to us with their questions. I let everybody, if you want to come to me, and I'm more than happy, I'll be your cheerleader, I'll be your champion, I'll answer all the questions, but I'm not selling you anything.
Right.
I don't even sell homes, right? It's just like, I don't believe that you can sell things, that people have to want it.
Right.
And so if they want it and they want to come to me, then I'm more than happy to ask their questions.
You're happy to be the guide.
Absolutely. So we're just the pointers. We're the professional pointers, pointing them to a link. We're putting them in the direction so that we know that they're in good hands, and that it's a trusted company, and that we know what they're getting, and we know that it works. And then their conversation is completely private with the doctor.
So go back to that part also, because Mindy and I have a friend who went and was given a source of getting product from her, I don't know, physical therapist or nutritionist or trainer. I don't know what it was, and had didn't get any benefit from products.
Yeah, a lot of people have come to me. They're like, "Oh, Erin, no, I've already tried peptides. They don't work." I'm like, "But have you tried these peptides?" And I'll
Right.
point them into the direction and I'll say, "I promise you, I promise you, this is going to work for you
Sure.
because it does."
Right.
And all you have to do is, almost that magic time period is between weeks 7 and 9. It's like, give you 90 days, give yourself 90 days. And I promise you, within that 90 days, you're going to see results and you're going to be ecstatic. And then it's your choice if you want to re up again, because it's a 90-day commitment. And again, I will be your best cheerleader. I will encourage you. I will, answer those questions. But give yourself that benefit of the 90 days and see for yourself what happens.
Well, speaking of being that cheerleader, so here's the biggest concern I think a lot of folks have is, I hear that there's side effects.
Right. And with some products there are.
Okay.
So let's talk about that.
Sure.
So there's choices, right? You always get what you pay for.
Right.
And so there's a difference between the semaglutide and the tirzepatide, for example. And the tirzepatide, one of the benefits of it is that not only does it work better, it's been proven to work better than the semaglutide. It is a little bit more expensive, but it comes with rewards.
Sure.
It also has cardiac benefits. It repairs some heart damage, and it's got brain benefits where it'll help you with the brain fog, stuff like that. So the semaglutide, a lot of people say, "Oh, well, I've tried that. And, yes, it does come with its share of some side effects that I've had many people talk about. They've got, cramping, diarrhea, nausea, like a lot of
Sure.
things that are uncomfortable. But again, sometimes you get what you pay for. So I always say, well, if you want to start with the win, start with the better product, and I can help, direct them to
That's a
that
biggie. And, and I'll take it one other direction a little bit, because when I had my bariatric surgery in 2007, one of the big issues of bariatric surgery is if you don't eat right, you pay the price.
Yeah.
And we would have in our support group meetings with our doctor, he would always laugh when somebody would have a negative side effect. And the reason he laughed is he said, "I bet you don't do that again." Right? It was a reinforcement of, things that we're supposed to be doing. We all know that we shouldn't be eating 17 desserts a night.
Mm-hmm.
And, we can have a few chips, but not the whole bag.
Right.
Right. And, we all know those things, but, without some aid, a lot of us don't have the control.
Yeah. You think of it like going bowling, right?
Right.
And using those bumpers.
Right.
So you're almost guaranteed to hit a pin.
Sure. And that's a great analogy, because so many people, thin people don't understand what morbidly obese people go through. Right. It's an addiction.
Yeah.
It's, you can't, as Mindy put in the commentary, it's the noise is always in your head. You're thinking about wanting food all the time.
So one of the great side effects with this product, which I've heard from many, many people, is that if they have addictive personalities, they're addicted to nicotine, they're addicted to alcohol, they're addicted to drugs, it also calms that noise. It makes
Right.
it much easier for you to get out of that addiction and then focus on what you need to actually focus on.
And that's an important point, just because Erin and I are not medical people, and we don't know every person's situation, but we can talk about scenarios that we've seen.
Absolutely. And another scenario I want to mention, because it's really important. A lot of people think that they don't qualify for this because maybe they only have 10 pounds to lose. They're like, "Oh, I don't have 100 pounds to lose. I don't have 50 pounds to lose. I only want to lose 10 pounds. There's a solution for that also. You can do what's called microdosing. There is a product that's less expensive than the full dose that you can do microdosing just to hit the goals that you want to hit. I can help you, point you in that direction as well.
And that's a huge issue there, because I wish I knew about it. I wish this was in existence, because when I had my bariatric surgery, right, I lost 162 pounds, and you start gaining a little bit. And we talk about the issue that fat people don't think of it this way. Thin people will do exactly what you're saying. They gain 5 pounds. They want to get rid of it right away.
Right away.
Right. Fat people say, "Okay, well, as long as I don't gain 10, then it's 20. And then you're where I was, where I'd gain like 60 back."
Yeah.
Right. But if you can get to where once you get to where you want to be, and you say, "Okay, I got 5 pounds to lose. Here's my aid."
Right. And some people just need a goal. Like
Right.
maybe it's that wedding coming up this summer, or maybe it's, a 4th of July weekend, or, maybe it's something in the future. Maybe it's a Labor Day weekend, or you have an event that you want to look really great for and you want to feel good about yourself. So
you have a friend and I have a friend. We have a mutual friend, I guess, the easy way to put it. She was believe it or not, I did go to spin class long time ago. And she was a spin teacher. And one of her comments all the time was summer's coming. Right. And right now, summer's coming.
Summer's coming.
Right. And, it's amazing to me how quickly, by using the right aid, which I call these aids, you can get rid of that baggage.
Yeah. Think where you could be by the middle of summer.
Right.
If you started today, think of where you could be in 90 days.
And that's the whole thing. I mean, because I think, I used them, I stopped. Stupid to me. I should have just kept on going. But, if I would really say seriously, I've used 5 months straight, maybe 6 months straight. And, 52 pounds. So and I haven't stopped doing anything that I wanted to. We've gone to all the restaurants we wanted to. We've gone to all the hotels. My wine inventory is down a little bit because of consumption, of course. Right. So it doesn't take forever.
Yeah.
You said Danny lost 114?
114 pounds.
How long did that roughly?
Roughly it was about a year.
Okay. So was that about 9-10 pounds a month?
Yeah.
Give or take.
And that's a healthy amount to lose. So you don't want to get to the point where you lose so much and then all of a sudden you got all this, saggy skin, and you want to have time to be able to eat your protein, build your muscle, because you're losing weight, but you're also losing muscle. So you've got to be able to build that muscle back. And that's why exercise is still so important.
That's a key right there.
Big, huge key that a lot of people think, there is no easy way, guys. Yeah, you can get the shot, you can lose the weight. But if you want to continue to, maintain and look good after that weight comes off, there's things that you need to follow up with. And
I asked my doctor about that because I'd heard, okay, you lose the weight and you're going to lose muscle and it's not good for you. So I asked my doctor, and his comment was, "Are you walking?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Okay, keep walking. And you don't have to go and be in the gym all day, but, grab a 5-pound bag of sugar and lift it over your head a few times." I went and got an app on my phone. It's called Muscle Booster.
Nice.
And all you need is a chair and a wall.
Yeah.
Most of us have that, right? And 10 or 20 minutes a day with a chair and a wall.
But once you start seeing yourself lose the weight, you're actually going to want to do that. That's the difference. Is like people are like, I don't want to do that. That's too much work.
Right.
But once you start losing the weight, you're actually going to want to do it because you're going to get excited about watching the scale go down.
So if you want to get more information, if you want to take a look at the website, there's a lot of products on there. There's products. Go over just a few. We only have a couple seconds here. And what are some of the different, not the product names, but the product benefit options?
Well, the NAD Plus, I could talk about that one. That's the one that Danny's doing right now. And that is it's a reverse aging on a cellular level.
Okay.
That is a fantastic one to pair with a GLP-1. The GID is the tirzepatide. It's the brand name of tirzepatide, which they also pair that with a B12, which gives you an extra boost of energy so that you don't have that lethargicness. You want to get out and do things. But there's so many
mental health, and you've got
the cardiac repair.
Okay.
It's a cardiac health, mental health with a tirzepatide. I will talk about pricing. It's $445 a month. It's a 3-month commitment. It's worth every single dime.
Absolutely.
And what you pay in the product, you're going to make up in your smarter choices when you go to the grocery store. And you start eating that protein more often, and smaller portions of food. Keep drinking that water. It's all gonna work out in the end.
You're going to feel a lot better. Want more information? rsrlinks.com/shot. rsrlinks.com/shot. It'll take you right to the LEMD site. RSR Links. And there's longevity, there's weight, there's joint health, there's libido health, I guess is what they call it. You get some of everything. So go to the link, rsrlinks.com/shot. If you want more help on buying a house, that's Erin's real expertise. Now, see, she can get granular, like the doctors get granular on this stuff. Buying a house, Erin can help you there because 3 years.
I know.
Wow.
It's a long time.
That's a long time. Okay. And you need lending help. We've got it all covered. Money and health and wealth. What more do you want?